Shalom and praise God. It's another wonderful opportunity our loving Father has given us for you and me to continue rejoicing in His grace and in His love and in His mercy. He is an amazing God. He loved us when we were lost in the world without hope, and He gave us hope. He died for us when we were still sinners. And I appreciate His love and even for His mercies upon each and every one of us. It's another day. This is our program, Line Up Online, and I'm your host, Teacher Sarah. And I'm very glad that we have gotten another opportunity to continue with the series, Unless a Man is Born Again. The reason as to why I started all the way from Genesis is for us to understand the plan of God upon humanity, the plan of salvation. God planned for the salvation of humanity the very moment man falls short. That very minute when man was deceived, God came up with a solution, and we were able to see that God promised that the seed of the woman would crush the head of the serpent. And along the book of Genesis, we were able to see that God spoke about the seed to Abraham. And he told Abraham, in your seed, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. And God spoke the same about the seed to Isaac and Jacob. And we have gone through the book of Genesis, and it was evident that despite the fact that the earth was filled with other human beings, all the way from chapter 12 of Genesis, God is, or the story that is given, is the story of God and the descendants of Abraham. And coming to Exodus, we were able to see that God spoke to Moses. And this Moses, remember, was born in the land of Egypt when the descendants of Jacob had become slaves in Egypt. And when Moses was born, it was terrible. The situation was terrible. And as the decree had gone in the land that all the male children who belonged to the Hebrews be killed, Moses was hidden by his mother. And Pharaoh's daughter found Moses hidden in the river, and she rescued him, and that is how Moses was raised in the house of Pharaoh. Now, we were able to see the story of how Moses went out of Egypt to the land of Midian, where he was a shepherd to the sheep of Jethro, who was his father-in-law, because he had married his daughter Zipporah. And remember, Moses ran out of Egypt when he was 40 years, and when he is 80 years, God appears to him in the burning bush, and he talks to him, and he tells Moses, I want to send you to Egypt so that you can go and get my people out of there. And we were able to see the story, though we did not go into the details. But today, as I promised, I want us to see this one event that took place at Mount Sinai after the children of Israel had come out of Egypt. They have crossed the Red Sea. They have come into the wilderness of Sinai. And whatever happened there is very crucial and very critical for us to understand, because whatever happened, it have affected our walk with God, our relationship with God. Remember, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was the God of the descendants of Abraham. All the other nations of the world, they were worshiping their own gods. They were idol worshippers. Only few who could maybe have known about this God, but God hakuwa na shughuli na wao, ama God hakuwa na a covenant na wao. God had made a covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, in chapter 19, I want us to read chapter 19 today of the book of Exodus for us to understand something. We are told that in the third month after the children of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt, on the same day they came to the wilderness of Sinai. Now, chapter 19 is the story of the house of Israel after they have left Egypt, and we are told that it is 3 months after they had left Egypt. Now they have come to the wilderness of Sinai. And we are told in verse 2, for they had departed from Rephidim, had come to the wilderness of Sinai, and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain. Which mountain? This is Mount Sinai. And Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain, saying, thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. The God of Abraham is categorical. He has called Moses to the mountain, and he is telling Moses, this is what you are going to tell the house of Jacob, the children of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle wings, and brought you to myself. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a special treasure to me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall not be, and you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. Now God have called Moses to come up to the mountain. The children of Israel have camped there in the wilderness. And God is speaking to Moses, and he is sending Moses categorically to the descendants of Jacob, and he is telling Moses to go and tell them that you have seen how I have brought you out of Egypt. And if you heed to my voice, if you keep my covenant, you shall be my special people. You shall be my special treasure, for the whole earth is mine. And number 2, they shall become a kingdom of priests and a holy nation to him. He continues in verse 7, he says, so Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and read before them all these words which the Lord commanded him. Now, something we have to understand here. When Moses went to Egypt and brought these people out, the people were numerous in number. The team was big. The number was too big. And there is no way Moses could have communicated with these people. And in the previous chapter, chapter 18, if at your own time you read the chapter, there was a time that as they were walking, there was a lot of cases amongst themselves, and it was too hard for Moses to judge every case. And Jethro, his father-in-law, had given Moses an idea. And it's very interesting to understand that Jethro, though a Midianite, he was a priest of God. Of course, he knew the God who created the heavens and the earth. But here we are following one thing. The people that God had a covenant with. So Jethro had advised Moses, his son-in-law, on how to guide these people, on how to lead these people, on how to rule them. And he had advised Moses to select leaders among these people so that it can be very easy for him even to judge the cases. And so that's how now Moses, when he comes down from the mountain, he is calling for the elders of the people. And he read before them all these words which the Lord had commanded him. Then all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord hath spoken we will do. So Moses brought back the words of the people to the Lord. Now I want you to see the role of Moses here. Moses is acting as a mediator. God is calling Moses, speaking to Moses to go and talk to the people, and the people gives Moses an answer, and Moses brings the answer back to God. And the Lord said to Moses, behold, I come to you in the thick crowd, that the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. Now, God is telling Moses, this is what I will do. I will speak to you. I will come and I will speak in a thick crowd so that these people can hear when I speak with you, so that these people will now believe in you. So Moses told the words of the people to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, now Moses, do this. Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow. Remember, it is in the first day, in the 3rd month after they have come out of Egypt, and they have camped there at the Wilderness of Sinai, in the very front of Mount Sinai. Remember, it is 3 months and the very first day that God is speaking to these people, or to Moses, to go and speak to these people, and he is telling Moses, I want you to go down, consecrate these people today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and let them be ready for the 3rd day. It's amazing. You see, all this journey for 3 months, hawajaoga. Remember, they have been walking in the wilderness, in the desert. And so God is telling Moses, go and consecrate these people for 2 days. And in the 3rd day, they should be clean. For on the 3rd day, the Lord will come down upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all people. You shall set bounds for the people all around, saying, take heed to yourself that you do not go up to the mountain or touch its base. Whoever touches the mountain shall surely be put to death. Not a hand shall touch him, but he shall surely be stoned or shot with arrows. It was terrible. Yani, go and consecrate these people, and no one should come or touch at the base of the mountain. And whoever does that, that person should be put to death. And no hand should touch him. So this person should either be stoned or be shot with arrows. Why? That particular person is not heeding to the voice of God, because God has given an instruction on how they have to conduct themselves. Verse 14, for Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, be ready for the 3rd day, do not come near your wives. Then it came to pass on the 3rd day in the morning that there were thundering and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountain, and the sound of trumpet was very loud, so that all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet with God. Now, remember, God have a date with these people. And previously he had instructed Moses on what to be done, so that on the 3rd day he will come and speak with these people, so that these people can hear his voice, and that God can have a covenant with them. And verse 18 says, now Mount Sinai was completely in smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. Its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. And when the blast of the trumpet sounded long and became louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him by voice. Then the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain, and the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. And the Lord said to Moses, go down and warn the people. Rest they break through to gaze at the Lord. Yani Mungu akaambia Moses, fanya aje? Teremuka. Go and warn these people. Wasikuwe tempted kuja hapa kunichungulia hapa. Go and warn them. And many of them perish. Also, let the priests who come near the Lord consecrate themselves, lest the Lord breaks out against them. Now, you will notice at this time, the children of Israel, they have priests. But now the priests who are here at this time, they are priests not according to the Levitical order. God have not yet set apart the Levites to serve him as the priest. But we see these guys, pakona priest miongoni mwao. But Moses said to the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, set bound around the mountain and consecrate it. Then the Lord said to him, away, get down, and then come up, you and Aaron with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break out against them. So Moses went down to the people and spoke to them. Now, God, and I insist, Now, God is insisting to Moses to go and warn his people, not to dare come near the mountain, not to dare touch the mountain, because whoever shall do that will perish, and many will perish. So Moses goes down, he wants them, and this time round he is told to come up with Aaron. Now, chapter 20 of Exodus, this is where now we have an account of the words that God spoke to the children of Israel specifically. God is at Mount Sinai with Moses and with the descendants of Jacob, who are called the house of Israel. And God is speaking some words to them so that he can have a covenant with them. Remember, these are children who were born in Egypt. All those who are formerly in the land of Canaan, the 70 persons, and all those who are of that generation, they are dead. So these are a new generation that God is speaking with at Mount Sinai. And from verse 1 we are told, and God spoke all these words, saying. Now, remember, these people are already prepared to hear the voice of God, to hear what God is saying. And so they are set to hear. And now God has come down to speak to them. And God spoke the following words. Number 1, he said, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So God introduced himself, who he is. He is the one. You guys, you should know that I'm the one who have brought you out of the land of Egypt. You shall, and because of that, you shall have no other gods before me. In short, the descendants of Israel, I don't expect you to have other gods. Of course, where they are coming from, the Egyptians are worshippers of other gods. And so God does not expect the descendants of Jacob to engage themselves with other gods, because it is him who have brought them out of the land of Egypt. And number 2, he told them, you shall not make for yourselves a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the father upon the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandment. He also said to them, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Number 4, he told them, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servants, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in the 6th day the Lord, for in 6 days the Lord made heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested in the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Number 5, he told them, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord God is giving you. You shall not murder. Number 6. Number 7, you shall not commit adultery. Number 8, you shall not steal. Number 9, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Number 10, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, neither his male servant, nor female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's. Now, verse 18, all the people witnessed. Who are these people? All those people who had come out of the land of Egypt, all those who were encamped at Mount Sinai, they witnessed the thundering, the lightning flashes, the sound and the trumpets, and the mountains smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off. Then they said to Moses, you speak with us, and we will hear. but let not God speak to us, lest we die. Now, by the time God is speaking the 10th word to them, or the 10th command to them, these people could not withstand the voice of God. Whatever they witnessed was terrifying to them. And so they told Moses, Moses, wewe inakaa umezoea hii sauti. Let God speak to you. You come and tell us. But for us, we can die here. Now, verse 20, Moses said to the people, do not fear, for the Lord has come to test you, and that his fear may be before you, so that you may not sin. So the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near the thick darkness where God was. Now, these guys have only heard these 10 commandments with their own ears. Now, this is not a story yenye Moses anawaambia. This is what they have heard with their ears from the Lord himself, in the midst of the fire, thunders, lightning, and all that. And it became too much for them, and they said, tafadhali, we can't take it anymore. But Moses told them, God is speaking to you to test you so that you may not sin. But that was not the end of God speaking. We are told that in verse 22 that the Lord said to Moses, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, you have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. So God is telling Moses to tell the children of Israel, I have talked with you. What have I told you? These 10 things. I have talked with you from the mountain. You shall not make anything to be with me, gods of silver or gold, or gods of gold you shall not make for yourself. An altar on earth you shall make for me, and you shall sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offering, your sheep and your oxen. In every place where I record my name, I will come to you, and I will bless you. And if you make me an altar of stones, you shall not build it on hewn stone, for if you use your tool on it, you shall have profaned it. Nor shall you go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness may be exposed on it. God have spoken, not that he has finished speaking whatever he wanted to speak, but at the end of the 10th command, these people can't take it anymore. And God is calling Moses back to the thick dark, to the mountain, and continued to give him instruction on how these people shall live. And in that small portion, God is telling Moses to tell these people, you shall not have for yourself carved images. You shall not bow to them. You shall not worship them. And number 2, you shall make an altar where you shall be offering your burnt sacrifices. And God is giving instruction to these people on how the altar shall be made, not with hewn stone. And number 2, nobody should go up. Yani isikuwe na staircase, because no one should go up kwa the altar, lest he shows his nakedness. It's very interesting. The point is, whatever God spoke at Mount Sinai at this particular time, God spoke it, and he was specifically and categorical to the house of Israel. These people have heard the voice of God. These people have heard the 10 commandments. And we shall continue from there next time, so that we can be able to understand why is it specifically to these people, and why is it that these 10 commandments are so crucial, and what does it mean? We shall continue from there, because by the end of this all, I'm taking you through the Bible so that you can have the clarity of the journey of the seed. The reason as to why, unless a man believes in this one man, Jesus, cannot be born again. Salvation is by believing in him. And in believing in him, we need some information that we have to understand so that by the end of it all, we can be able to tell what is it that we had, that we believed. I know we have a lot of people who have believed in stories. Some were terrified. They were told, "Kujani muokoke, come and be saved. Rest you shall go to hell." And because of fear, they came there and said, "Oh, Lord Jesus, I come before you. Forgive me. Write my name in the Lamb Book of Life," and all that. But there was no gospel that was preached to them. And it shall be very unfortunate when one exits this body, only to find yourself in a place that you never expected. And when the day comes, you are told, "I didn't know you." Yet, all along we have been very busy in the religious activities. We have been prayerful, we have been giving, we have been doing all these good works. But at the end of it all, we are told, "I never knew you," or "You are never born of my seed. You are not my type." And so we shall continue from there for us to understand more. Just be kind enough, share the link with many as you can. Let many come to understand this story, so that when we are talking of salvation, they can have the clarity of where the plan is coming from. So till next time, may the Lord do you good, and may you continue growing in the knowledge of Christ. I pray that together we shall be united in the knowledge of Christ, and we shall be united in our faith in him. Otherwise, shalom. I love you so much, and I pray that you will be safe